Alright, so just to get back in, I need to grab some textures. Probably could have done this bit off screen, but this is what I'm doing. Snap to grid. So this is a tile. This is a tile. That's a tile. Okay, and then I think just that, there, and there, and there. That seems alright. I think that'll be for a store, the store building. Just saving that. Building. And what else? Some kind of brick wall maybe. So same thing. Okay, pop that there. That there. That seems fine. I'll just call this brick wall. Alright, so now that we can go back to these, make some materials for it. Brick wall. It's not smooth at all. It seems alright. Cool. Brick floor. We have floor path, and we'll do floor brick. Okay. This is sort of sandy, this one. Sandy floor. Okay. Oh, yeah, I want to remove the filter just to make it a bit closer to being the nice pixel arty way. But you know what? I'll turn that back on just so we can see the difference in the game, and I'll turn it off again afterwards. Alright, so we've got the brick wall, we've got this store. Now I don't know if this is going to look broken. I might need to do some more work in Blender to fix this, so let's just see. Really, this should instead of being a cube, it should probably be just a set of quads that I can alter each of the faces on. But we'll just see how it is first of all. Just say building. The naming convention should probably be better. Right, let's see how terrible it is. Yep, absolutely terrible. Open the cube. Material preview, let's see. Yeah, it's not really what we want. Right. Building. So we just stick the color in there, and this is it looking all broken and weird. Well, UV editing. Make it look a bit better. So we go full face, unwrap, and it looks like it's on its side. And the dark bit should be at the top, so that's what we're looking for. Alright. Unwrap. Again. It's either 90 degrees or minus 90. All of these have been minus 90 so far. Yep. Alright, and on top, I don't know, maybe it should just be the inside. Maybe I can just manipulate that a little bit. Something like that. Kind of breaking the rules of pixels by having a different resolution on top, but yeah, maybe I should have something else up there instead. What do we have anyway? Maybe we can just remove that face. Delete face. Delete that as well, actually. That's good. Then we can just put a floor and a roof on. Alright, so let's save this. I guess it's not really a cube anymore, but that's probably fine. Is this a different cube I'm saving? Let's see. Yeah. to save it somewhere else. Okay. Will it just look great immediately? Yeah. So, you may have noticed it doesn't display all of the faces all of the time. So this is to do with normals and the way that quads work. So if this face here has a normal that points out this way in the direction of the red arrow, and the face that should be here has a normal that points away from that blue arrow, so it goes out this way. Yeah, it goes out that way. So the facing, we have to be looking at the facing in order to see, in order for the face to be rendered, essentially. So if we go around, we will expect to see it. There we go. So we can only see one direction, which is absolutely fine, because if this is an object in our game, we're going to be down here somewhere. We're supposed to only ever see the outside. So what we can do is have another object that is the inside of a building, and it will be the reverse. We will have the normals pointing in the way. So when we're on the outside, we can only see the brick, but when we're on the inside, we only see the inside of the building. So here we are inside the village, fresh slate. We have all these beautiful prefab pieces to work with now. Let's make some floors. We'll just start dropping this in. And I'm using one tile is one position. It's better for positioning. I don't need to create another coordinate translator or anything. Just if you're on 0, 0, 0, you are in the middle here. But I wanted to have a bigger perspective of the world, so that's why I went for not just a single tile piece of graphic, essentially. These are, I think, 3 tiles wide and 3 tiles tall, whereas it's only taken up a 1 by 1 space, even though it's 3 by 3 for the sprite or the graphic. Where's the wall? There we go. So here's a wall. It is facing a certain direction. This doing 90 degrees means it is on our tile. I slightly move it. You see it is on our tile, which is not what we want. We want it to be on the other side of the tile, which means doing minus 90, but then going -1 here. So the tile stops before it. Now, lighting wise, there might be some funky business here where the light manages to escape in between here. So I might need to double up on the floor like that or something. But we'll see. If it gets to that point, we'll do it then. We'll start with just a little path that goes straight ahead. I'll make some walls that go up as well. Let's make one over here as well, but that will be the 90. Yeah. So at the start of the game, I'll be here probably, and then I will move forward and we will see some stuff. Let's put the store in at the end. Maybe just pop some more of this down here. Alright. Yep, this isn't to any plan or anything. I'm just getting some stuff on the into the map so that we can start moving around in the world and seeing things. So now, let's just go back and make sure it's actually doing what we want it to do. So we see that there's nothing in the nothing in our scene apart from the game player and the game manager. We run the game. Which suddenly takes a billion years. Come on. Alright, well, something's happened. Cool. Well, it has spawned, but the camera is really far away for some reason. Yep, there we go. Okay, well that's fine because it does get spawned. Let's just get a bit closer. Probably be around 0.5. There we go, this is how the game's going to look. If this is not for you, if this is not your kind of thing, then I totally understand, but I absolutely love this sort of visual in a game. And yeah, this isn't going to be the full screen either. I'm going to put this in a little box in the top corner if I can figure out how to do it. Something to do with render textures. Instead of rendering it as just a camera, you will render it as a viewport. And then we'll have some text boxes just to describe what's going on as you move around. So yeah, let's start working on the camera stuff. I'm gonna have, let's see, what's the best way to do this? A player marker or map player instead of game player. This would be map player, and that would be the actual visual and keep track of where you are and stuff. Maybe that's a good idea. Let's just dump this in so we've got something to work with. So here's our map player. We want this to be a root object that has the exact coordinates of the position. The point of that, so you don't want to be adding visuals to this and say this should be this high, maybe give it this much of an offset. You don't want this on a root object because now if you tell it we want the player to move forward, well now you need to translate that into keep the 0.35 but then move forward by 1, and then you end up with all kinds of horrible looking coordinates instead of just saying I was at 0, now I want to be at 1. So that's why you keep all this to just root coordinates on the base object. Inside of this is where you can then add other components. We would say this is a camera, and we will say first person camera, maybe. Attach that to the map player object. Give it some better coordinates, maybe 0.5 so it's a little bit behind. So let's say we are right in front of that wall. How will that look? What object is this? Or what position is that, I mean? 003. So let's move our player to 003 and see if it still looks okay. Yeah, it's not bad. You can see the whole wall, a little bit of the floor. Orthographic? Yeah, that's kind of screwing with everything. Let's keep it perspective for this camera. So if we turn 90 degrees, yeah, we can still see a bit of what's going on inside this this box, and we can see where we're going. Okay. So keep an eye on the graphics here. Looks a bit blurry, right? We click on these, turn off the filtering, and it just sharpens up. It just sharpens up. I'll do that again. Just keep an eye on the textures. Blurry. Sharper. Keep in mind, this may be even more of a difference with other sprites and graphics that you use. Alright, so that's our camera. Seems like it's fine. Um, how does this work? Render type. Overlay. Maybe that's what we want. Let's create a... Again, I'm getting a little ahead of myself with this. I just want to test it out and see if it's going to work the way I want it to. I think it's a raw image. So instead of canvas, we will call this first person UI. So this is looking for a texture. So where would we create this texture? Is it something we would do in here maybe? Pop it in here if I can. Render texture. First person render texture. Let's see. 2D array. So what do we do with this now? Yeah, in Godot it was really simple to have multiple cameras that output to an image or a texture rather than straight out the camera. What is this? Preview artifact found. I don't even know where this is coming from, this error. Doesn't look like it happens all the time. First person render texture. No. No what? Maybe I should actually look this up instead of just guessing. Material? Is there a material difference? Custom render texture. It's maybe not what we're looking for then. I should have to add a camera to this somewhere. All right, let's do the first port of call. Let's ask AI if it knows. In Unity, how do I render a camera's viewpoint to a texture I can display in the UI? Let's see. Create a render texture asset. Okay, I kind of got that. Assign render texture to camera. That's maybe the part I was missing. Select the camera whose viewpoint you want to render. Find the target texture field. Target texture. Oh. Target eye. I don't know what target eye means, but I'm liking it so far. Add raw image. Yeah, I was pretty close then. I was pretty close. There it is. So I think 360. We can slap that in the top corner. Maybe not the best place for it, but again, nothing has to be final if you don't want it to be. Right, is that it? Is that it working? Play the game. And then let's start moving this around. We go back to 2, go to 1, 0. Yeah, I guess it's working. Cool. Yeah, very nice. So this, here, no cameras rendering. I wonder if we have to have a camera rendering or if this will go away. Maybe the camera is required for the UI component? No, because that already is displaying. Scale screen size. We'll lock it into 1920 by 1080. Well, yeah, I want to do this again, but for an overhead camera. Oh. In URP, you may need to set the camera's output target via the additional camera data component as shown in scripting documentation. Render texture uses GPU memory, very high resolution, or many cameras, and render textures may increase memory usage. All right, let's have a little look. Seems fine. Although being fair, nothing's really happening. I don't think much will be happening in the update for this part of the game. You just kind of press a button, do some calculations, and then let the player press buttons again. Maybe the solution to this is to just have a camera that culls everything but the UI. UI camera. Where is it? There we go. There we go. Just the UI. Just a solid color. I do have an image overlay that I was going to use in the Godot version of this. Nothing crazy, just some outlines for these parts. Maybe make a UI folder just to put this stuff. And there we go. Yeah, nothing fancy, just a little bit of something. Yeah. Alright, let's get on the next camera. We're gonna maybe I'll just copy this. Actually, let's not copy it. I've got a feeling copying it would probably create another problem. So let's say overhead camera. Estimation, let's go up 4, but we need to come down like that. Probably orthographic for this one. Bring it in a little bit. May need to screw around with some of these walls. Maybe add just a strong black to the top, just so it's a bit more obvious what this is. This is map stuff. This is actual map stuff, so bring in the... Yeah, I probably want to be doing all this in here, annoyingly. Let's take the map player. Can I paste that? Okay. Um, the map is good. Overhead camera. So yeah, anything that's map specific, we want it inside here, so that when we destroy all of this, we're still fine. So UI camera, all good. Event system, the UI. Okay, we're back to the game scene being game scene specific. Now we've got this stuff. Actually, I'm wrong. This should also be in there. Okay, how did I break it? Three audio listeners. Okay. This is the only one we want. The one on the UI camera, because this is going to stay forever. Map manager, we will get rid of that. And this one we'll get rid of. So, what's causing this yellow? This? Probably. I'll just make it black for now. It's been a bit more faff in this video compared to the last one, but it's adding a lot to the game already. Getting these different camera angles is very nice. So here we've got the UI. Put 2D on just so we can see. We got raw image. So do canvas UI overlay UI. Overhead UI. We'll just delete that. Oh no, let's get that back. Overhead viewport. need to make another texture for it. Overhead render texture. Oh yeah, the size, I could change that rather than the whatever I did here. Width and height. Overhead camera should be this render texture. Alright, great. So we got this overhead, we got the first person. This overlay will just give it a higher sort order, I think. There we go. So it just breaks up a little bit. In the top will be just a static image, like I described in the first video. Just a static image that yeah, so if you're talking to someone, their picture will appear here, or I guess if you're standing in front of them, the picture can appear here. Yeah, it's coming together. What's next? What is next? Yeah, maybe I should just add an image that can be manipulated and then just call it there for this one. So maybe just this again, because it's just an image. So we'll say position, content UI, maybe something like that. And this is going to be just a picture. So I've got this little icon. It's kind of cool. I'll just use this icon for now. Single, full rect, get rid of the filter, apply. It's going to look a bit stretched, but I'll get a replacement one at some point. Oops. Okay, it's a bit more stretched than I thought it'd be. Oh yeah, it's the taking up the whole content, which is not what we want. This should be just like that. Let's give it a spin. No good. What did I do wrong? Is it the camera? Is this not marked as UI? Is that the problem? Hmm. Even with nothing, calling nothing, it doesn't work. Where is this picture? Height 3. Nope, height is 360, not 3. What's going on there? Is this to do with some auto scaling nonsense? Game manager, map manager. Scaling looks fine. Scaling's fine. Scaling's fine. Oh wait, it's there now for some reason. Okay, I don't know. Alright, just real quick before I finish this video then. Just some early movement that will absolutely get changed later on. Explore, override on state update. We'll say get key. How do we do this again? Key code .w. If we're pressing W, duh, 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 duh. How do we move the player? So there is a map player object inside map manager, so we maybe want to grab a reference to it there. Duh, 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 duh. Maybe later this will be an actual class that does stuff, but for now we'll just make an object and then we'll add in public void move player. We'll just move them forward by a small amount. So when you press W, we will just move the player. Map manager. Let's see if this works. We won't be doing it this way. but it would be good to see it moving. Oh, I need to assign. Init, it's still in the init map state. So spawn the map instance, and then we want to change state to explore. There we go. So this one is attached to the player object, but this doesn't do anything to do with the player object, so we'll need some way of updating the position to match wherever the player is. Overhead camera rig, maybe something like that. And on update, we will just follow. For now, this is all going to be attached, but I'll make events and subscribe to different events and things to move objects around afterwards. Map player. If map player exists, we will set this camera's the camera rig position to match. So here we go. We have a camera that has some sort of configuration to it. So we don't want this to be the base object. So we'll do overhead camera rig. That is all on 0. We'll put the camera in here. Add that there. So now, when the player moves forward, the rig will move into the exact same position and it won't screw up any of the settings we have on the overhead camera. There we go. It's actually following the player now. Alright, good stuff. Let's call it for this one.